This is my AXPONA 2024 wrap-up report. As I mentioned in the first day impressions, my format this year has been quite different. I visited far fewer rooms, so I had time to do these mini interviews. So for example, I did not get to see some of my typical favorites. I didn't get to see Jeremy Bryan at MBL. I didn't get to see Hans Luhmann at Infigo. Sorry, Hans. Sorry, Jeremy. I will catch you next show. The 4 days were total whirlwind, very, very crazy busy, but very fun. I also got to meet Matthias of Brinkmann. I have a Brinkmann balanced turntable, and I've worked with Matthias on setup and stuff, so it was great to meet Matthias in person. One interesting thing, do you guys remember how the massive $1 million advertised Estalon room last year, people weren't in love with that sound. I felt, and all my friends felt, that the Vita somehow sounded weirdly slow on the giant Estalon. This year, totally different. This year, it was the one down from the top, the Estalon Forza on Vitas, I think maybe the same amps, and it sounded great. So it's still baffling mystery to me what happened last year, because this year, the one model down Forza sounded great. I loved it. My friend Mark Meisner just bought Forzas. He's loving them on a Constellation amp. So very different experience with Estalon this year. I enjoyed interviewing Michael Borison. I enjoyed interviewing Lucas Fickus, Angus Lung of Westminster Lab, Florian of Clarisis. The interview thing was very fun for me. I know some of the audio was borderline unintelligible. I promise next show I will have much better microphone setup situation to plug into the iPhone for recording the audio. So sorry about this year. I will improve that next time. Debuts. Borison debuted the small stand mount C1. Griffin, it was great to see Runa, of course. The EOS 5 sounded very good to me. Runa also demoed his Power Zone power conditioner. I'm not a big tweaky fan or power conditioner fan, but I believe I heard a difference. And each of my friends, one of my friends set to try to buy the thing. So that was another successful debut. Todd Binnix debuted the Avant-Garde Mezzo. That's a horn-loaded former duo. They're trying to distinguish themselves from the duo, so now it's just called the Mezzo, below the trio. I thought that sounded great. I thought it sounded especially great on the Phase-Mation tube amps. Let me give a shout-out to Todd, because I have always had issues with Avant-Garde being bright, and I keep describing Todd as some kind of avant-garde whisperer, because the guy is just like the best avant-garde setup guy I've ever known. Clarisis Piccolo debut. So I am a Clarisis dealer, so I totally respect if you discount by 100% everything I say about Clarisis, but I'm just putting my reporting hat on here, and I'm reporting on Clarisis because I've been a planar aficionado my whole life. I'm a planar dipole person. I report on planars all the time. I'm not going to stop reporting on Clarisis because I'm a dealer now, but you can feel free to discount whatever I say. I thought the Clarisis Piccolo, which Florian was just brought at the last minute, the thing sounded so big, the sound from the Piccolo is so big, even in that giant room, that I think Florian unexpectedly had kind of a fun time trying to make people guess when they walk into that giant room if they were listening to the Piccolo or if they were listening to the giant Auditorium Plus. So I think, forget about what I'm saying. I think, ask other people. I think people found the Piccolo to have a very big sound for a small speaker, entry-level speaker. $20,000, I think, is the entry-level price. So that was an interesting debut. My friend Dale Stanton, at the last minute, dragged me to Mako, a speaker I'd never heard of. The guy's name is Armando Reyes. It is a fairly small, 3.5-foot tall thing with a woofer, open baffle, which I do like, a woofer on the bottom, I think a mid-range and a concentric, a whizzer cone thing on the top, open baffle driven by Trafomatic. I like Trafomatic. Almost anything that you put on Trafomatic I'm going to be happy with. But this thing sounded great. Dale was right. The thing is $6,000. What the hell can you buy for $6,000? 2 feet of a fancy interconnect these days. So I don't know where the guy came from, but Armando Reyes Mako, that speaker was a great debut. For a small speaker, for a small modest speaker, I'm saying. It's not going to take the place of some big thing. Another debut, Diptyque, which I enjoyed listening to last year at Expona. They demoed the big Diptyque. This is now a very small Diptyque. I found it very transparent, very resolving. Another planar to audition if you're interested in planar dipoles. I heard for the first time the analog audio design tape machine actually playing tape. Every other time it's been static or I don't know what, but Gary Coe showed it a couple times, but I don't know, for some reason I never heard it actually spinning tape. I heard it spinning tape, it works, it looks beautiful. People interested in new production tape machines, of course you have to check out United Home Audio Greg Baron's machine, but here's an alternative analog audio design from France. This time actually playing tape. Favorite small rooms. I don't know if Todd and Angie's room is really sort of small. It's kind of mid-sized, but I'll call it a small. I like the AG Mezzo, the Avant-Garde Mezzo very much, especially on the phasmation tubes. Wonderful sound, not brightness. I personally prefer tubes over the Itron, but that's me. The Collins Wolf on Longa, London. That was absolutely one of my 3 or 4 favorite rooms. Again, 2 woofers, wide band driver, conventional driver on top, not the ribbon thing this time. I thought that sounded wonderful. Jeff Catalano Cesaro Opus with subwoofer. I liked the sound a little bit better last time. Jeff, I hope you bring low power tubes next time. I know you want to show the Alianos, but okay. For me, I prefer that Opus system on low power tubes. So hopefully you bring back tubes next year. And the other small system I really liked was this Mako thing. My favorite big rooms. Val's Acora room was sounding wonderful with VAC electronics. I love the VAC stuff. That was a great sounding big room. I thought the Claris's Auditorium plus Convergent Audio Technologies, 3 different pairs of amps Ken Stevens had there. I thought that was a great sounding room, despite the fact the room is just gigantically long. Elliot's Goebel room, that's the Goebel Noblesse, Riviera Electronics. He showed some nice fancy Riviera preamp and an entire platoon of Wade-Ax boxes. Sounded wonderful this year. Elliot also had these interesting accordion things as diffusers all over the place, which I think helped. So I think Elliot's sound this year was great. Definitely one of my favorite big rooms. I listened to the VTL Stenheim room last night during B and Luke's music event of playing Dark Side of the Moon, special event Dark Side of the Moon. I thought the big system sounded great using 4 VTL amps. Dark Side of the Moon is just a little bit before my time, so it's not my favorite music, but it was a fun event to go to. And that's the wrap up. So hope you enjoyed this. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.